Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Super excited to be filming an April reading wrap up for you guys. I have not filmed one yet this year, which I'm sure you've noticed if you keep up with me, which don't know how many of you do that, but I have been in a reading slump literally since mid-January and I'm just now getting out of it. I had a really good reading month in April. I got to read a lot of new releases and just a lot of books that I had been looking forward to reading. Actually, I think almost all of these books are new releases except a couple. Friendly reminder, I am awful at explaining things and giving descriptions of books that I've read, so bear with me. The first book that we have that I finished in April, which I actually started in March, is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the companion novel to When in Rome. This book follows Annie and Will, and Annie is the guy from the first book's sister, and Will is the girl from the first book's bodyguard. So they are in this small town called Rome, Kentucky, and Annie works at a flower shop, and she is very much seen as the goody two shoes, and she's kind of sick of having that narrative on her because I don't know, it's just like annoying. Everybody just sees her as like innocent little Annie, and she's just kind of tired of it. And she is really wanting to just like find somebody to marry, and she struggles a lot with going on dates. She's just not very sociable, I guess, which I don't blame her. I ain't either. So they end up kind of becoming friends, and she actually ends up asking him, although it's not her directly, asking him to basically help her learn how to date. So they kind of, fake date, but not really. It's like him teaching her how to, you know, be able to go on a date and all of this stuff. Okay, so I'm looking at Goodreads and I rated this book 3 stars, which I think is a pretty good description of how I'd rate this book. Like I said, I did enjoy this book, but it wasn't anything like super amazing. It definitely gave me a bunch of spring vibes, and I do love the cover of this book. I think it's super, super cute. So yeah, this book was the first read of the month, and I gave this 3 stars. Okay, the next book that I read was a new release, but I think it was released in March, if I'm not mistaken, and it is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. This is one of her adult romances. A lot of people say that they enjoy her young adult romances more than her adult romances, and I disagree with that. I think I prefer her adult romances to her young adult romances. I really, really did enjoy this book. I'm trying to remember what this one was about. Sophie is our girl main character, and she's about to get married, but her fiance cheated on her again. He's cheated on her multiple times, so she ends up finding this guy that goes and just like objects weddings. He gets paid to just go around and like object to weddings. For instance, in this one, so Sophie's father works for her future father-in-law, and she's scared that if she calls it off, her father's gonna get fired and all this stuff, so she needs to find a different way. So that's kind of what a lot of people in this book that need to get their weddings objected to, that's kind of the situation where it's like they don't want to call it off because there will be bad consequences, but if somebody else does, the consequences won't be as bad. So the objector to Sophie's wedding ends up being Max, and they end up becoming friends that night, and then she goes on to end up working with him to object to weddings, and they have a lot of fun doing it. And then as they're spending more time together, they start falling in love, I think. I don't really remember too much about this. I really don't remember a lot about this book. I did like it while I was reading it, but I mean, it wasn't anything super special. But I did like it while I was reading this, and I did give this 3.75 stars, I think. Again, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite. I would recommend it, but it wasn't like my favorite book ever. But I do love Lynn Painter's writing, and I do love her books, and I think that this was a cute romance, and it wasn't that long. So, yeah. Okay, moving on, we have another new release, and I love this book so much, and it is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I am a Abby Jimenez stan. I love her so much. Her books are amazing. I'm actually currently reading the Happy Ever After playlist by her, and then after that I only have one book left by her, which I'm sad. I love her writing. There's something about her writing that is just so good. She writes so well. She is really just like an amazing, amazing, amazing writer. I did tab this book a little bit. I'm not sure if you can tell, but basically, this is the short little premise of this book. So we have Emma and then we have Justin. And Emma and Justin, both of them, find themselves that whenever they're dating somebody, and then they break up, that person then goes to find like the love of their life, the person they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. So they believe that they're cursed. And Justin takes this to Reddit, and Emma sees this, reaches out, and they end up talking, and then They end up meeting. So basically they meet each other because they think that if they date each other, then their curses will cancel out, and then the next person that each of them dates, they'll find like the love of their life. But when Emma gets to, I believe it's Minnesota, am I correct? When she gets to the place that Justin is, her mother shows up, and her mother is extremely toxic and struggles. I think her mother struggles from bipolar disorder. I could be wrong. She never, I don't think she ever explicitly said what the mother was suffering from, but from the hints and clues and context clues, I picked up that I think she's bipolar. I think. I could be totally wrong, but I really think she's bipolar. She definitely has manic episodes and she definitely has depressive episodes. So that's what I think is going on with her mother. But there's just a lot going on, and she has no other family, and then her mother comes and shows up and she's like, what the heck? And then um it's just crazy. And then I'm not gonna say anything about this because I want you all to experience it yourselves. But if you're picking up this book, I beg to please read Part of Your World and Yours Truly first, because those are all in the same world as this one. Because if you read those first, which I wish I read those like closer to reading this one, so I would have picked up on more, because there's so many Easter eggs that Abby Jimenez puts into this book from those two, and you get to see some characters from those two, and then like towards the end, I was like, whoa, I was like putting all the puzzle pieces together, and I was like, I was originally filming a reading vlog while reading this, but I ended up scrapping it. But I had like footage of me being like, I was like, no way. Like, I was at my boyfriend's house reading, and I had to stop, and I was explaining the thing to him. He wasn't listening. He had no idea what was but I needed to talk. I posted a TikTok video where I was like, spoiler, spoiler. But, like, I need you people to listen to this. Like, the puzzle pieces going together were insane. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, because I didn't realize that this person was this person, and this person was this person. I was really taken aback by this book. So I ended up giving this 4.7 stars, and I think I am sticking with that, although I don't know, I really liked this book. I don't know if it's a 5 star. On that note, I haven't had a 5 star yet this year. I've only read 13 books, so, but this was really, really close to it. I just didn't really get that feeling. Oh, and another thing too, totally forgot about this, is that Justin is also going through something else in this story, which I'm not going to say what it is, but basically he has to um, take care of his three younger siblings, and you see like the stuff going on with that and how he's stressed out about having to do that and like why that's going to be happening and all of this stuff. So that was a really cool thing. You got to see like into the family lives of each of the characters as well, which I really enjoyed, and I did really, really like Emma's best friend as well. I'm hoping we get a book on her. Oh wait, no, we're not gonna get a book on her because if you've read the ending, then you know. But this was so good. 4.7 stars. 4.75 stars. Abby Jimenez is just, do yourself a favor and go pick up her books. And again, if you want to read this one, which you should, this book is spectacular. Go and read Part of Your World and Yours Truly before you do this. I literally beg of you, because you will, it will connect so much more if you read those first. Okay, thank you. Yet again, another new release, which I had been anticipating this book for a long time. I was super excited to read this book, and it is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver is the author of the Chestnut Spring series and another series which I haven't read yet, but they're coming out with new covers for them, so I think I'm going to get those when they come out with the new covers. But this book was so good. I love this book so much. It was super, super cute. This follows Ford Grant, who is a billionaire, a recently found billionaire, and he lives in Rose Hill, which is a town near Chestnut Springs, which we see in Powerless. We see that town. And he is Willa's brother. So Willa from Heartless, that's his sister. And the girl in this book, Rosie, her brother is Ford's best friend, and they've known each other since she was a kid, obviously. And she goes back home to Rose Hill from the city because she basically, something happens to her at her job, and her boyfriend, they've kind of just been roommates lately. Okay, she's kind of over it, so she goes back to Rose Hill and she ends up working for Ford, and we get to see their relationship kind of blossom, which is super fun. And then there's another aspect of the story, another character that I absolutely loved. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that is on the back, but still. I loved that character in the book as well. I thought that that was really, really a wholesome thing to add in, and I just really, really enjoyed this book. It was fun to be back in Elsie Silver's worlds. I love her writing, and this cover is just stunning. I just love this book. I did tab it a little bit, and there were some quotes in there that I definitely did love. But basically, Ford has been in love with Rosie since they were teenagers. He's been in love with her ever since then. But he's kind of always been like an awkward guy, and he just never said anything because, you know, that's his best friend's sister. So, I give this 4 stars. I loved it. Elsie Silver can never do any wrong. I'm so excited for the next book in the series because I just love her and I just love them. Yeah, it was a great book. Okay, next, I finished a book that I started back in February. I know. And when I show you the book, you're gonna say, Julia, how the heck did it take you that long to finish it? Because I was in a slump. But the book is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the fifth book in the Throne of Glass series, and I can't really explain anything about this book without giving anything away, so I'm not going to. All I'm going to say is that I wish I was not in a slump while reading this. I wish I had read this all the way through, because I was like 150 pages in when I got back into it, but then once I got back into it, I was like reading it, and it was so good. It was so good. I gave this 4.75 stars. It wasn't a 5 star for me just because I don't know, it wasn't there for me. It was really, really good, and I'm so excited to get into the tandem read, but I am starting to get sad that I'm nearing the end of the series because I don't want to have to say bye to these characters because I feel like I know them so well, and it's just going to be really heartbreaking because I know that things are going to have to happen in the next couple of books, and I'm not looking forward to whatever's going to happen. Like, I don't know, but yeah, again, I can't really say anything about this book, but I did love it, and I give it 4.75 stars. And then next, another new release. Are you shocked? I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I did tab this book as well. I actually just finished this a couple days ago, and if I'm being honest, I don't really remember too much about this book. Daphne and Miles. Basically what happens is Daphne's fiance at the night of his bachelor party, comes back home and says that he's in love with his best friend, Petra. He's been his best friend since he was a little kid. She's also in love with him. So they break up, and she ends up moving with Miles, Petra's ex-boyfriend, because he needs a roommate. She needs a place to live because Peter, her ex-fiance, is kicking her out. So yeah, so they end up moving in together, and Daphne's a librarian, and it's actually like super cute. Again, I don't really remember too much about it. Daphne is definitely like not too good at making friends, but that's okay. Like, we all sometimes struggle to make friends, you know what I'm saying? Um, but why don't I remember anything about that? Daphne does struggle with some issues with her family, and actually so does Miles, so we get to see some of that, and then we get to see Miles' sister too, which I really liked her character. She seems like a lot of fun. And then there's another character named Ashley who works at the library with Daphne, and she was a super, super funny character. I really enjoyed her, and it was a really, really good book. I did really enjoy it. I think I gave this 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite Emily Henry book. I was a little bit disappointed by it, but I mean, I'm not one of those like diehard Emily Henry fans. I really loved Beach Read, but Book Lovers and Happy Place just like didn't hit crazily for me. I still have yet to read People We Meet on Vacation. I have that. I'll probably read that soon. But yeah, this one just didn't hit the spot for me, but that's okay because I gave it 4 stars and I did enjoy it anyway. At least I didn't, it's not like I hated the book at all. No, and I did get a lot of tabs in there, which was good. So, that's that one. And then the last book that I read in April, which is another new release, which actually was just released in the US yesterday, but I got it from Blackwell's because I wanted the UK edition, and it released in the UK like 2 weeks ago. Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the novella that goes between Powerless and Reckless, and this follows Adina, Peyton's like best friend, and we get to see what Adina is up to while Peyton is at the trials, and we get to see her meet somebody and become friends with him. I read it so quickly. The pages are short, the words are small. I ended up giving this like 4 stars. I think I did really, really enjoy it. I love Lauren Roberts' writing. She's a very talented writer for being so insanely young. She's like my age, and she's insanely good at writing. It was very hard to read this book. I can't really tell you why, but it was hard to read this book because of something. but I did really enjoy it, and it was so nice to see like what Adina again did while Peyton was away. So I gave this 4 stars and I really liked it, and I'm so excited for Reckless to come out. So those are the books that I read in April. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I read 7 books in April, which is amazing for me because, like I said, I've been in such an awful book slump. But yeah, I hope that May is an even better reading month for me. I have like 2 weeks off of school right now, so I'm trying to get in as much reading as I possibly can. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys read some great books in April. And I hope I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.